That vibe. All right.
Oh yeah. And speaking of vibes, we are live. That doesn't rhyme, does it? What's going on,
Well,
everybody? We are back here with another episode of the Deadhead Podcast, and I am really happy to be here. I've been missing this show for I think we haven't done it for what 3 weeks now, right? About 3 weeks,
yep. 3 weeks.
and it feels like it's been longer than that. So I'm happy to be here and been working all day. We got Jan back here with us as usual. Thanks, man, for making some time to come talk to me about nerd shit. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
it's 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 good to just like get out of like the business mind state for a little while and just talk shop with a good buddy and just whether we agree or disagree or not, it's just a good time.
Well, I agree 100%. This is my
Yeah.
safe space.
All right. Well, look, we don't. I don't want to drag out the intro too long, so I'm gonna get the pleasantries out the way first, right? Um, I was planning on talking to you about it in our off time. I'll bring it up here now. I would like to do at least one more show before the end of the year. At least one more.
Def. We gotta talk
It's
about
some.
Crisis Core.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we can try. I don't know. I'm so backed up with games right now, man. I gotta. Anyway,
Oh
we'll get into that
man.
in a minute.
All right.
I
All
do
right. All right.
plan. I do plan to play it, but we might not be able to talk about that till maybe like January, February time. I don't know, but we'll see.
Oh well, that's fine.
So I'd like to do one more show just to kind of close out the year because that's a big for us. I mean, we're on episode 14 now. That'll put us at 15.
Great.
That's 15 shows that we've been steady. We've been doing this. We brought in a couple people. I've kind of lacked off in that department of reaching out to people because I'll be honest, I've been lazy, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Mm.
been not really lazy. I just had a lot going on, and I guess I've been putting this
Well, I mean,
show on the back burner, and I don't mean to do that because I take a lot of pride in this. What were you gonna say?
it's winter. I mean, you're hibernating. I mean, we're mammals after all. I mean, we kind of
Yeah, right. So
we can indulge a bit.
yes, that's right, that's right. And I usually love reaching out to people. I just like I said, I think I've just really been to myself because I've been busy. But if we can do one more good show after this one, that'll make me happy. Hope make you happy, and hopefully anybody who's
Oh,
returning to watch us make you guys happy as well. Because we do. I feel good. We have a little bit of a following to come and check out our videos, and we don't. We're still small, still relatively small, but we're building, so that's good. Um, so now move on to real something really quick. Go down to repsports.com. We have a great offer over there, 15% off everything Rep Sports, especially my favorite RAZE Energy. Have one right here. You got to bring one into the stream. Really great drinks. I've talked about it a million times. I have the discount code and the link to repsports.com to get any kind of Rep Sports material, and you won't regret it. It's one of the best drinks out there, zero sugar, and you don't feel like you're on a high every time you drink one of these. It's not like I'm not going to name any of these, but it's not like your normal everyday energy drinks that make you feel like you're about to freaking die. So you won't regret it. So go check it out. Use our discount code Deadhead96 to get 15% off your entire order, and you won't regret it. So with that being said, before we get into God of War, man, I just need to talk to you on a more of a personal level. Okay.
all right.
And
Okay.
I know I'm kind of hitting you with something random, right? Because you're like, oh man, well, me and Dylan's gonna get on the camera today. We're gonna talk about God of War Ragnarok. That is true. But my first thing is I want to ask you is, and I just feel compelled to because I think what I've always mentioned to you is, and I think I've mentioned it before in one of our earlier episodes, is mental health is a huge thing for me, right?
Right.
I've come to terms with that in recent years, just having a bad image about yourself, maybe feel like you're not doing the best you can do. Like I'm married, I have I'm trying to support a household and keep my marriage alive and make sure we're doing good, with each other on every aspect. So I wanted to bring to you, and I don't mean to make this super serious, but I wanted to really just how are you mentally, and like
Oh.
are you coping okay with things going on? Because I know you've been busy, and I'm just asking you as a friend, just how are things going, and
Oh.
and tell whatever you want to. You don't have to get super personal.
Oh well, I mean, I appreciate it. This wasn't expected. Pleasant surprise. So,
Yeah, right.
well, I think I'm doing fine actually. Actually, this year, right here, I think it's sort of been one of the best of my life. I got to tell you
Mm,
right now. I think, and it's not something particularly good happened. It's more so that I realize, just how lucky I am. How I'm surrounded by fantastic friends, fantastic people.
right.
Um, it's one of those things where they might have been there all along, but sometimes you kind of convince yourself, you put yourself, in a little cage, a little made up cage, and you like in a little brain, and you convince
Mhm.
yourself that the things are not looking so good. But I don't know. This year has been an eye opener. I had a lot of opportunities. I realized lots of stuff. I started this podcast with you, and I got to tell you, this thing has been really, really helping me a lot.
Mhm.
Having one more hobby, and
That's great.
just having something, yeah, having something to look forward to. In regards to my me being busy, I mean, you know, I am busy in the sense that I don't have too much free time, but I'm not. It's not intense work. You know what I'm saying? I do have classes, and I do got my internship and all that, but I'm in humanitarian studies. Real talk. We don't do
Right.
hard work. I feel it's not
Right.
it's
Right.
not it's not medicine, right? It's not medicine school. Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
not gonna be a doctor, but I do. But I am busy. I gotta do stuff, and honestly, I kind of this is pretty uncharacteristic of me because I'm a pretty
Mhm.
lazy person usually.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of glad that I'm busy. I gotta tell you,
Mhm.
it's it gives you a sense. It gives a sense of direction. I feel
Mhm.
like I'm going somewhere. Because
Yeah.
during COVID, when I was that was like my laziest point. I wasn't even like going to classes. I wasn't listening to the classes online. I wasn't doing anything, right? And that whole year I just felt so down. I felt directionless. I felt as if I wasn't going anywhere. And yeah, so now I'm doing much better. So thanks for the question. And
Yeah.
while we're at it, I can throw the ball back to you. How are you doing?
No, no. Thank you for sharing that. And as always, when we're on here, you can be as personal as you feel, right? You don't want
Mm,
to put all your stuff out there, but whatever you feel, I guess kind of when I thought about this show, I thought about, I love the gaming talks, I love the movie talks, but also like the real world talks as well. I think honestly,
mm,
those might be my favorite, to be honest, because I think as I get older and more things come into my life, I like to talk about it. How I'm doing good. I'm in a decent place. I've had some, just like anybody, I'm trying to be a better person, I guess. Not that I think I'm a total piece of crap. But, I just think that there's things I need to do better on. One is, and you might notice it more in our next shows, is I'm gonna try to do my best not to cuss as much. Try not to curse as much in
oh,
my videos because I've gotten really bad. Like it's just
you think so? Okay.
well, not even in our shows because I go back and watch some of our segments and it's not like I'm terrible, but I'm trying to get in the habit of just trying to clean up my language a little bit. Yeah,
Hmm.
I still might say shit and stuff like that every once in a while. You know what I mean? I'm not going, but I just want to try to do better with my vocabulary because you don't always have to resort to using curse words, and not that I feel like they're like, oh my god, if you say them, you're like I know some people don't really believe
You're
in
going to hell.
get out of like even if you don't want to think religiously, right? You're going to hell if you say curse. That's not what I'm saying because I don't believe that at all. What I believe
Hmm.
is that when you get to the point where you're saying them in normal conversation, to the point where it's getting
Mm.
obnoxious, it's like you need to stop. I'll give you a prime
Oh, like
example.
you're not even realizing you're doing it.
Yeah, right, right.
What you
Yeah, like
mean? Yeah.
I was talking to my grandma last week, and
Okay.
I was telling a story, and it was a pretty funny story, and I knew she'd get a kick out of it, but I kept wanting to say the F word like throughout the entire story, and it's
Oh
kind of like
damn.
you kind of forget who you're talking to. So I
Hmm.
just got to the point where I need to calm down with my cussing. I went through something recently. It's not like it's a big deal, but it's like a little family situation, and it had
Hmm.
pissed me off so bad that I said some really foul things about a person.
Damn.
Not like I hope you die or anything like that, but it was just like I was just really really angry about it. And so like when I look back on it, I had to take a step back after the stuff I was saying because I realized
Mm.
that like that was like really rough and I didn't really need to approach it that
Right.
way. And I felt that bad because I was kind of like, you know, especially when you're around people you love and then you act like that. Like my wife was there when I was losing it, and
Yeah, that's kind of.
I don't want her to see that, and I don't want anybody to see that, because I'm genuinely I know I love fighting sports, I love MMA, I love boxing, but I don't ever want to like be violent or aggressive towards somebody.
Right.
So anyway, so I say all that to say that I'm going to try to do better with my life. I'm not like yeah, I'm not gonna say that I'm over here like never gonna say them, but I just want to try to be a little bit better with my vocabulary, and just I might throw in a few more craps and shoots
Well,
and stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
that just makes the dialogue more flavorful, if you ask me. All good things in moderation.
There's sentence
Uh,
enhancers.
well, listen up. All right. So here's a little insight. So I at least think that the way Americans use cuss words, right?
Mhm.
I think just very charming. I think it's got its own beat to it. It's
Mm.
kind of, I mean, of course, as you said, when you go too much with it, it becomes a bit obnoxious.
Yeah.
But as long as it's controlled,
Mhm.
as like a good cuss at the right time, I don't know, just makes it more impactful, right?
Mhm.
Or me just makes it more what's the word, sympathique, like just makes it more charming. There we go. So,
Hmm.
but I do think it's admirable. I think it's a good thing because first off, you realize that it is a problem or something you want to curb. I
Mhm.
think that's the first step. But
Yeah,
I think that's the hardest one. So yeah, props to you.
I
Kudos,
appreciate
as the
that.
kids would say.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I want to do better on that, and I obviously we got goals for this show and channel and stuff forward, but that will be in our next one, so we won't talk about that. But I just figured I'd start off the show with just seeing how you're doing, and I know I've asked you that like and messenger and stuff, but it's usually just pleasantries, So I just wanted to kind of just
Mm,
see if there was
real
something
talk.
if there was something underlying that you want. Not that I want to be your therapist or anything, but I want to keep it real. You know what I mean? So if there's something going on that I want you to know this is a safe spot, and if you only tell what you need to tell. If you don't want to, then don't. That's kind of how I want to keep it.
That's very nice. I told you this is my safe space. I cannot consider it as such even before this, but it's good to have words of affirmation.
Oh yeah, dude. I
All
mean,
right.
shoot, yeah. I mean, when I call you brother, I mean it, man. You're a good guy. You're a good friend, and I know we're
Ah, dude.
you're far way way away from me, but
Way.
you're a good guy. You ever come to the States, you always got a place to kick it.
Oh, definitely.
Um, so anyway, with that being said, let's stop tugging each other around and let's talk about God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
So
Ragnarok.
that's what we've come to. That's probably what most of you guys have come to see. By the way, real quick, Najee Wells, the guy I brought on for the Halloween episode of the podcast, unfortunately you had some technical difficulties. You had to dip out a little early. He actually just commented and said, "What's going on?" And we're doing all right, man. I don't know if you heard all that, but we're keeping on.
Exactly. Keeping
So,
on.
but I didn't know if you could see it on your end or not. But he said what's going on. So I was trying to find a way if I could share it
Is
with
that
you.
in the
But
comments?
yeah, it's in the
Oh, I see
comments.
it.
Yep, yep,
I see it. Hi, so what's going
yep.
on? It's doing great, dude.
So I don't know if he's still watching or not. But if you are, man, it's good seeing you, and we'll have to get you on again soon. So yeah, God of War Ragnarok, man. This has been a wild ride because, as you know, I've been very indifferent about it. And I think in healthy ways, right? I'm not shitting on the game. See, there I go right there. I'm not crapping on the game. I'm definitely not saying it's the best game ever. I'm definitely not saying that, and I have my reasons for it, and I'm sticking to it. Just to give you a little groundwork from my end, and I'll let you have the floor. I've put I know you 100% at the game. I know I saw that on my PSN. I haven't. I think I got like 41 to 45%. I can't remember, but I've put like 52 hours into the game. So I have done my fair share exploring. I stopped. I will say this. I stopped playing. So I don't platinum games. I don't find that fun. You know what I mean? Like if I love a game, if I love a game, I'll try it. But I was getting so pissed by the navigation in this game.
Yeah.
I was getting so irritated, Jan, that I was like, man, you know what I mean? I was getting so mad because I couldn't. Yeah. I kept running around.
When I uninstall the game,
Yeah, it almost got uninstalled. So anyway, I put 52 hours into the game, so I think I have a pretty damn good feeling of it. I'll finish the story. You finish the story. So now we can get into the actual spoiler part of this. So by the way, if you're watching, I think I put it over here already. Spoiler warning, because we're going to spoil the absolute crap out of this. And yeah, so I'm going to let you have the floor. General ideas, general thoughts of the game and the story as a whole. And yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. So first off, yeah, as Dylan said, I did 100% it, and yeah, I also put a similar amount of hours. I think it's around 60 hours. I did use
Jeez.
guide. Yeah, I did use guides. That's how I got it so quickly because I knew, like, because I also platinumed the God of War 2018. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. I was like, nah, man, I'm not going through it again. I had two screens, put up a guide next to me. But I'll get back to that later because I have a lot to say about the, as you said, the exploration in that game, post game. But getting to the story, as you said, well, the story is fantastic. I'll gotta tell you, from everything I've seen that came out this year, whether it be a TV show or a movie or a game, I think that God of War has the best writing out of all of them. I think it has incredible direction. I think that the dialogues are, to the point. They're not wishy-washy, but they're impactful. They're, they're profound. They got more layers to it. But they don't dangle around. They're not full of themselves. You know what I'm saying? They know when to be a bit more frivolous, when to be more serious. I think that the score matches the scenes fantastically. I think that the plot twists are actually, even when you expect them, they're still well executed, and when you don't expect them, there was one plot twist that I did not expect. I think you know what I'm talking about. The one involving Tyr.
There you go.
The one involving Tyr. That was, oh my god, that entire scene. Just analyzing that entire scene is incredible. Like, Brock starts, he starts to kind of cause a scene, cause a ruckus. He goes, what the hell are you talking about? And at first, you kind of,
why the hell do you keep calling him Loki?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, something's not right here. And at first, you're kind of siding with Tyr. You're going, okay, Brock, what the hell? I mean, this is just Brock's and his antics again. He's always got to make a scene. He always has to, say something. Be grumpy and all. But then it turns out he was fucking right. Tyr goes and fucking stabs him. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? And no, the way the entire, you got the one-shot camera, which I think is just incredibly impressive how they managed to do it. The transitions from gameplay to cutscenes, but even throughout the cutscene itself, right? Because usually when you do a one-shot, when you use a one-shot camera, it's kind of, how do I say? It starts to be noticeable, right? It starts to be kind of obnoxious. You notice that they are not able to make some tricks with the camera they would be able to do if they were making cuts. But here, no, it looks so natural. I kind of always forget that it's a one-shot point of view because it's so perfect. The way that Tyr brings out the knife out of nowhere and stabs him, it makes for a dramatic shot, and I don't know why they do this to themselves, because I know that has to be so difficult to direct, but I fucking did it, the madman. And, yeah, as I said, that entire thing, that Tyr was actually Odin. And that's why Odin, it makes so much sense in the moment, right? Because we were always wondering, why was Odin so calm? Why was he letting Loki, or Atreus rather, just go in and out from Asgard? Like,
that's right.
I didn't realize, he was always keeping tabs on him. And when you think about it, it's one of the best plot twists. What I think makes a good plot twist is when you rewatch the movie or when you rewatch the scenes, you kind of notice how obvious it was, and you feel like a fucking idiot that you haven't even suspected of it before. But the first time through, you're completely clueless. I think that's what makes a good plot twist, and this is one of them. So what about the characters? I think the characters are well written. The ones that from the last game, the ones that make a return, I like more than I did before, especially Sindri and Brock. I think that made them way more. They gave them way more layers. They gave them backstories. The backstories did not feel like tacked on. It made sense when they were revealed, and it did actually sound like something that could have happened. It's not like I don't know. To make an example, in Uncharted 4, the long lost brother thing comes out of nowhere. No, this actually makes sense, right?
Right.
Like the whole thing, how that Brock is actually, has been revived, he's dead. It's something that it was out of nowhere. Like, it is a surprise, but it's not. It doesn't make you turn your head. It doesn't make you go, okay, what the hell was this coming from? The same thing with Freya. I think the entire dynamic with Freya was was very well executed. She doesn't
Yeah.
just change sides out of nowhere. It's a process, it's synthetic crescendo of first her not wanting to even talk to them, just wanting to fucking fight him and kill him, to her kind of sparing Atreus when he comes to visit her.
Mhm.
And then there's like this very tense truce between her and Kratos. And then there's this beautiful scene. You even texted me about it. That fantastic scene when they actually, make amends. How do they say? They appease themselves. She
Make
forgives
amends.
him. They make amends. Yeah, she forgives him. I think it's just incredibly well executed. It's not out of nowhere. It's not patchy. It just flows beautifully. And the last thing I want to talk about is the ending.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, the spectacle was there, because one thing that I thought was missing from 2018 was a spectacle. There were some pretty good fights, but they were never on the scale of God of War 3. I think that this one, it's still not on the same level, but that's just because the way the game is framed, the way the combat works, the way the camera works. But I think that's like the best you can get. The Thor fighting against Jormungandr in the background when we were bashing against hordes of enemies, seeing the beast of Ragnarok crashing Asgard, and the entire fight against Thor. I think that the fight against Thor is more flashy than the fight against Odin. I think that all the sequence of fights was very well done. It didn't drag out too long. You had a few mob fights, then a boss fight against Thor, and a boss fight against Odin. Beautiful. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like the way the story resolved. I thought that all the character plot points were brought to an end, for a satisfying end, and the ones that didn't, okay, some didn't, but they did get a few post game scenes, which it is kind of tacked on. I do feel like they could have maybe been able to finish up their stories in the actual cutscenes, but it's fine. I mean, you can't have them all, I guess. And so overall, I'm very satisfied. I very liked it, and I'll tell you what, I kind of liked it more than Elden Ring. It's hard to admit, but at least on my first playthrough, I think that if I played it again, I think Elden Ring is a better game, has more like replay value. But even as a Souls fan, as a long-running Souls fan, I gotta say, God of War is my game of the year. It's at least right now, I think so. It might change my mind. But now I enjoyed my first playthrough of God of War Ragnarok way more than my first playthrough of Elden Ring. So, I think that story-wise, I said all that I had to say.
To tag on to what the last thing you said, the thing that sucks is, Brock's funeral, right? That should have been something in the main game. I think that's something that Atreus should have been at, right? I mean, I think Atreus should have been there.
That's true.
I know Sindri is like pissed at Kratos and Atreus because he's sort of blaming them for it happening, but at the same time, I think that's something Atreus probably should have been there for. Don't you think?
Yes. Well, that is true. Atreus kind of pieces out, out of nowhere during the ending. But which makes sense. I think that's also a very emotional scene where he flies away from the nest.
Yeah,
and Kratos kind of has to accept that. But I think they could have found a way to jam it somewhere in between. I mean, because we do have a scene where Atreus goes, he loses consciousness and he wakes up. I don't know. They could have done something. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice because how during the funeral, Freya, she shoots the arrow that lights Brock on fire during the Viking funeral. It would have been nice if Atreus did it. I think he would have had a bit more depth if Atreus did that. But he also could have shown how much he's improved, with his bowman skills. But I do agree with you on that. And talking about that, as much as I like the transformation Sindri goes through. This whole thing of Sindri, kind of getting mad at Kratos, is kind of a rethread of Freya. It's kind of the same dynamic that we had in the last game, where Freya was a great help for the entire game, a great friend, and at the very end she kind of gets mad at Kratos for I guess a good reason, right? You can't really blame her. She is being irrational, but it's kind of an understandable irrationality, and the same goes with Sindri. But I kind of feel it wasn't as impactful this time because it kind of already happened, right?
Right.
Yeah. I see. I mean, it's not the same thing. Freya wanted to fucking kill him while Sindri is just being very, very bitter. But
Yeah, I think it hurts a little bit more. I mean, I think it hurts a little bit more for Sindri because Sindri was helping Atreus look for Tyr right before the events of Ragnarok. So I think it was more of like, because I doubt Atreus was like, Sindri, you better help me or I'll freaking kill you. But it was more of like,
right.
Like I need your help on this. And so I can see Sindri now like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Do you know who your dad is? He's going to freaking kill us if I help you. And I could just see Atreus now, like, father doesn't understand, blah, 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 blah. And he talked Sindri into it. And Sindri was just being a good friend because you could tell he obviously cared about Atreus, And I think it hurt even worse when he died because, like, we all know that Kratos and Atreus had nothing to do with that. Obviously, we know that Sindri had brought Brock back without Brock even knowing. Like, Brock had died before, and he doesn't even have a soul. He lost his soul in that first death. So that's something Brock didn't even know about. So really, if there's anyone to blame, it's definitely Sindri. But that's what we all do, right? When we go through a loss, we always like have to blame somebody, whether it be somebody around us or ourselves. So I thought it was. I wouldn't say it's like a healthy way to act, but at the same time, I feel like it's a very natural way because you got to look for somebody to blame, and you blame them because one, you haven't known them nearly as long as you've known your brother, right? And I think he pretty much like behind Kratos' back and Brock's back. Apparently, he was helping out Atreus this whole time, and I think it felt like a stab in the back. Like I helped you out, only for my family.
And this is what it gets me, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that I agree with you there. I think that that story between Brock and Sindri were phenomenal in this game.
Wow. Much more than in the first.
Yeah, they were. They just kind of felt like they were just more of your blacksmith guys. They set you up what you need, and then you're on your way. In this game, they actually felt like real concrete characters. Now, what I will say is, I don't know how you were because it's hard for a game to get me emotional. It has to be like really, really like touching for me. I felt nothing when he died. I was surprised when
Brock died.
Yeah, when Brock died, I was not like sad, because I cared about him, but it's not like I don't know. We've only really had him for one game, and it's not like he's I guess two games technically, but
it didn't get. You know what? I think it was less of his death. It was less his death that got me emotional, and more of kind of Sindri's response to it. You kind of felt like, because you had this little dynamic, this little family, let's call it, right? You got Freya, you got Sindri and Brock, you got Tyr. And now, it turns out that Tyr was actually Odin. Brock is dead. Sindri's heartbroken. It kind of felt like this whole little, makeshift family we got was kind of falling apart. I think that's what got me the most. So, yeah, I do agree. I'm the same as you. It takes a lot to get me emotional.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of...
Yeah, well, it's like the same thing. Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, it's kind of like the same thing at the beginning when... And don't wrong, I understand that it was supposed to be a sad scene, but it did nothing for me. At the very beginning when Fenrir is dying, well, Fenrir before he becomes the actual Fenrir that we know in the mythology. He's dying, and Atreus is over top of him, and he's crying and stuff. And I'm sitting here like, it just kind of was awkward. And it's not that it was like a bad. It's not that it was a bad scene. It's not like the voice actors and actors they did terrible. I don't know. Like, was I supposed to care? Like, I didn't really care. If they really dwelled on that, like really. And I know how, like you said before, with the one-shot camera, they really try to like convey through camera work emotion more so than like the music and like the stuff going on in the scene. It's the one shot that they really focus on, and they zoom in on Atreus while he's leaned over Fenrir and he's crying, and then he does something. I think does he. Yeah, because obviously
he transfers the soul into the night.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know how you felt. I seen this guy on YouTube. His name, I'll leave his name out of it. But
what? I'm watching that scene.
I'm watching this dude react. He's like, he put on Twitter my reaction to Fenrir dying. And it was one of the most lamest things I've ever seen. You could tell this guy was like, he loves this franchise, right? And you know what?
Uh,
That's no problem, man. I have things like I love The Walking Dead. I love Kingdom Hearts. I love these like Final Fantasy. I love these franchises so much. So obviously, like I can be that like passionate about it too. But like, why are you crying over like this? I just don't. He was like posting selfies of him crying.
Oh my
like,
god,
really?
dude!
Really?
I mean, that's an entire subculture that I kind of don't feel as like I'm a part of it. But okay, so here's the thing. What's the word? I think that scene is justified because it has important plot relevance later, right? Because it has the thing, as I said, of they are focusing on Trace being real sad, right? But I think the focus, at least to me, what I focused the most on was the fact that he was using that spell, the soul transferring spell. It becomes much more important later on. That's how I justify the existence of that scene.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting with you, like, okay, yeah, dog dies. It's real sad. I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't know. I didn't know. But I don't know. Yeah, people like to get really emotional with stuff like that. Especially when it's like a pet dying.
Yeah,
Like a cat or
maybe
a
that's what it
dog.
was. Yeah, maybe that's what it
Yeah.
was. Because like I had this guy that I used to work with, where like he literally did not care about human beings at all. Like he wouldn't care. Like he's like, I don't care. This person, something could happen to them, whatever. But as soon as the dog gets injured, I lose it. I'm like, dude, I know you're kind of laughing when you say that, but you sound like a real piece of shit. So what you're telling me is that if there's a baby hanging off the side of a cliff, and on the other side of the cliff is a dog, you're going for the dog. And he's like, he couldn't give me an answer because he knew what he was going to pick. He was going to pick the dog. I'm like, you piece of shit.
Oh my god!
How dare you stay away from my kid?
Okay. Can we rant about this? Because like this actually has been on. This is not like a new thing. This has been like going around for a lot of time on the internet. You know, you have like these memes of there's like a person next to a car, right? And he's like throwing a sigh of relief, and the text goes, me when I think that I curb stomped a pet like a dog, but it's actually like a human baby, right?
Yeah,
and that's just supposed to be funny, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I find it funny, but like for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
I think it's just ridiculous, and like I think movies in general I think that they exploited this a lot. You have like people dying, like you have like a superhero movie, right? Then you have like this supervillain just fucking causing mayhem, just fucking killing a shit ton of people, right? And then they focus on this one puppy who got stuck, between two cars or something. And the main character, he's such a good guy. He goes in to save the puppy, right? And that's how he wins over the audience by saving the puppy. In the meantime, there's like people screaming in the background. They're fucking, they're burning alive in their buildings. They're getting torn apart. But nobody said the puppy's all right, people. It's all right. It's good. I don't know. And you know what? People are probably gonna call us heartless, like we don't care about pets or something. Like I appreciate all life on Earth, right? I would never harm an animal, and I would be upset if I saw an animal being hurt or in pain, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I think you gotta put things into perspective here, right? I don't know if there's a flood, right, or some shit like that. I'm not gonna worry about the stray cats on the street. I'm gonna worry about people who are in danger. I don't know. I guess
yeah, because you're a decent human being. Like I'm sitting here like it doesn't like and I and that's what's funny about us is what I found about you talking to you up the past year now really is that we both have that dark sense of humor where we laugh at things that probably we shouldn't laugh at. Like the whole meme about like, oh, thank God it wasn't a dog, it was a baby. Like I ran over a baby. The hell, dude? Like that's not funny, but the joke itself is kind of funny.
The fact that someone can conjure up something, like they have this whole culture of people thinking that is funny. That's what I find funny.
Yeah, there's more of us out there somewhere, but yeah, I don't know. Like I just. To me, I just didn't get the whole emotional scene there because like even Kratos wasn't having it. Like Kratos was like just sitting there and he's like, "All right, Atreus, time to train." He's like,
"Oh my god, I completely forgot about that part." Kratos is kind of being I don't know. He's kind of being such a not a hard ass, but he's kind of being very like had a one track mind at the beginning of the game, right? And we know why. It's because he wants the Trace to be ready because he thinks he's going to die or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like I was playing it with my roommate, right? And it got to a point where we could always almost like predict his lines. There's like a point where I don't remember exactly when, but I got sidetracked, right? And at some point, the Trace asks, "So where do we go now?" And like my roommate Harry said, "Home." And as soon as he said it, Atreus goes, "We go home."
We go home.
We go home. We go Trey. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I'm not criticizing it. I'm saying it's kind of funny.
Yeah, he's a man of not many words, but in Ragnarok though he talks quite a bit in this game, which surprised me a little bit.
You know what? And I'll tell you, this is my favorite iteration of Kratos. He's still the same kind of hard ass we know, but he's human side. He's way more developed. He's way more open. You said it in the last episode too. Sometimes when you buy him new armor, he goes, "It fits," and it's nice. He's being a decent friend. He's not just grunting around. He still has his moments, right? Like when Sindri asks him, "Oh, could you please not lose the armor this time?" And he goes, "No, I will not."
Yeah, I will not. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I will not. I
mean, it's still fun. You see? Yeah. It's like we had this good. This it's the same persona he always had, but it's just it's not overplayed.
What I like is
that.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. What?
I just wanted to say that when I said in the last episode that I don't appreciate as much the Kratos in the original games, is that he's he's not much. He's a very one-dimensional character. He just is one killing machine, and I understand that it's meant to be written this way because he's like a broken man that has been just destroyed by this because he has like nightmares and he killed his family and he just has only rage within himself or whatever. I get it. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I get it. I don't like it. But I will say I'm trying to correct myself. I think I will. I noticed that all the God of War games are on the premium catalog, and I think I will try to find the time to play them all, just so that I can, justify my all that I'm saying about them.
Yeah, no, I mean, like they have. So I was gonna say, well, let me say this before I say the next thing is the fact that I like that. In this game, you see him Kratos really cares about the people around him. Like even he calls Mimir brother in one piece of dialogue, and I was like, "Wow!" Like, look how.
Oh, you're talking about the, yeah. Are you talking about the one after he kills the king, the Berserker king? Okay, I don't know because there's this one. I might be like spoiling you for this, but when you kill, once you defeat all the Berserkers, you get to face off against the king, right?
Yeah.
And once you kill the king, so basically the third thing is that Mimir wanted them dead, right? And Kratos is he is helping him, but he's kind of not really happy about it because he thinks that Mimir is doing this out of spite, out of vengeance, and he does not want Mimir to go down that path. But right before killing the last Berserker, Mimir tells him, "You know what, Kratos, you're right. I mean, this is senseless. I'm just doing this because of some sort of personal vendetta." But Kratos goes, "Well, I'm glad you realized this, but I'm still going to help them. I'm still going to kill them because they're still dangerous, dangerous souls. I don't want them wandering around Midgard. I just wanted to make sure that your heart was in the right place." And Mimir goes, "Well, I wasn't expecting that of you. I think you've come far." And Kratos says, "I had a good guidance, brother."
Oh, okay. So he says it right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, you know what? Man, I want to rant so bad, but I'm gonna try not to.
What? Go ahead. Let it out.
I couldn't face the last Berserker because I didn't know where to freaking go.
Oh yeah, but they're marked on the map.
I tried, dude. I was like in. So all right, I got too many things going on at one time here. So let me just. So I like that he was caring about the other characters. I do like that. To move on to the next thing you said, I think the other God of War games are in the PlayStation catalog, but don't you have to stream them? Or isn't it more of streaming? You can't download.
You have to stream.
Yeah, that sucks.
One, two, and essential through streaming, and 3 is the one you can download.
That's trash.
Well, I mean, what you gonna do?
Yeah, no, that sucks, but that's trash. Like that's.
It is trash. I am not happy about it, but. Well, at least I can get to play them. I don't know.
I'd rather just get a PS2 and just play it like that as
But
opposed
I don't get
to
but I don't get
streaming.
trophies that way.
What?
You don't get trophies that way.
You don't get trophies? Oh my god.
Yeah. I
Really?
wanna.
So you want the trophies? That's why.
I want a trophy. Well, not just because of that. I mainly want to play the game. But no, I honestly I've tried streaming. I'm not defending it. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my Fi is pretty good for it.
Mm-hmm.
And God of War, it's not okay. I might get fucking obliterated for saying this. It's not that skill based, is it? It's more mishmashy, right? It's not.
From what I can tell, it's very hack and slash. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't take any strategy, but it's not like these new games. It's not like this at all.
Yeah, it's not like you have to pure perfect, right? You got to do like perfect dodges, perfect blocks, parries, or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like, if I miss one input, it's not the end of the world. I think I'm gonna live through it. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not
anything. Button mashing is like your friend in that entire. Well, the trilogy. I know Ascension. Ascension is like a side story, right? Or is that one of the mainline games?
It's a prequel. It's a very first game, like it's in the line. Basically, it's how he frees himself from the bind he has to Ares, from what I understood.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played that in so long. I know, like, I kind of know the general story, but believe it or not, I think I said this in the last episode. There's a lot of lore with this franchise. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I didn't know there were that many games. I thought you had a trilogy, but now you have Ascension, you have Chains of Olympus, you have Ghosts of Sparta. It's crazy, dude. Should be whack, y'all.
Yeah. So anyway, to go back to what I'm saying about the map, dude. I didn't really have a problem with the map until the end game. The end game right now is I stopped playing it. I'm not saying I won't go back and maybe because I was on a roll, man. There's berserkers like they're not like they're like super difficult. I died a few times with each one. I know one of them I died like at least 15 times, and that was the one that had like 3 berserkers.
Oh yeah, the sisters. Yeah.
Yes, the sisters, and then you had the one brute, which he wasn't bad. I could piece him up all day as the other 2. And that one I probably died like 15 times. Probably.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know.
Same here.
But I was really on a roll with those berserkers because one, I really found them really like it's just like the Valkyries were in 2018. I found those really, really satisfying to beat. And so I beat like 11 of them. And my last one was in this middle little island area. So like, all right, so in Vanaheim, when you get to that, I'm trying to think where you're at here. It's like a bridge, and there's like a door on each side of this bridge. And one door is open, like you can actually go in there, and the other side is locked. And I believe when you on the right side of the bridge, when you go inside this little corridor, there's like a side mission there for a guy who's looking for an hourglass. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right. The ghost. Right.
Yeah. All right. So you can go that way, but the other way is kind of no, not exactly. Anyway, there's a middle area right there that has a gate. There's an actual like what do you call those things? A mythical gate or mystic gate or what I think is what it is. And there's a gate. There's a gate there, but I can't access it from the map. I went and made sure I didn't have any more seeds to get from the talking squirrel. I don't remember what his name.
Ratatosker.
That's it. I made sure there was no more seeds that I could get from him, and he doesn't. So I can't access that area.
I didn't have that issue.
I don't know how to complete it because I looked it up online and it said that like you have to free up some water to go into that canal to make. Get boat. I don't know how you access that water.
Okay. So if you go down south of that area, I'm gonna try to walk through here. So once you're talking about the crater, right? Which is the lower part of Anaheim.
Yes.
Like you do that side quest where the dog. Yeah. So
the dragon. So you fight the dragon, right? And then you got to look for another one. Forget the dragon. All right. Okay.
Think about the very first mystic gate you come across when you enter that area, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay. From there, you go forward and you're in that whole huge playing field, right?
Okay.
And then you're right. Yeah. Okay. You take a left. As soon you take a left, right, and then you jump through a few. There's like a little. You gotta use your chains, your Blaze of Chaos. You gotta jump to like a little island. You go to like the western section of the map, right?
Okay.
And then you go southward. You go southward, and then you're at this jungle, and then kind of the side quest starts with itself. It literally something like Freya will comment on. Oh well, once this river used to be so lush and streaming, but then Odin went and built this fucking dam, and I'm sorry, and then
right,
she doesn't say it like that, but
yeah, that was good.
But Kratos then says, "Oh well, we got to do something about it, right?"
Okay.
So, and from that moment onward, you don't need anymore. You just gotta get into that area.
So that's how okay. So that's how I access. So I'm able to get that water back into the. Yeah.
And that's the first thing you got to do. Once you literally you have very limited movability before you do that. Once you do that, even like the main area, you have this river and you have like a bunch of little spots where you can access with a boat. And I'm guessing that's why I didn't have that issue, because this is one of the first things I did. I freed the water. So I guess the way you get to that Misty Gate is just once you have the river, you take the boat, you go and you get to the other side. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. I might have to try that soon then, because I was having a blast playing the game. That's the thing. Like I have my gripes with it, which I'll get into in a minute. But the world itself and the, like you said, the music, the combat is super satisfying. And I was having a really good time with it. And I was getting, like, it took me to like halfway through the game to get really good at it. Like to be able to chain combinations, like being able to take my axe, sling an enemy up in the air, take my chains of chaos, light him on fire while he's in there, and then of course you get the spear, the Draupnir spear.
Yeah, Draupnir, yeah.
And I liked it pretty well. I still didn't really use it as much as the axe, because I think I told you last time, I like the axe, man.
That's the way to go. Yeah.
It's got that like that heavy feeling to it, it. I don't know if it feels as heavy as 2018, but it still does the amount of damage I want it to do.
Yeah,
so
I'll tell you what. I think in the last episode I told you that I also use the axe way more than the Blaze of Chaos, but I still try to use them here and there. I mean, sometimes the game makes you, but because you have the enemies that like are impervious to ice damage or whatever. Once I got the spear, I never touched the blades, because now before it was either mainly the axe, a bit of the blades. Now it's mainly the axe and a bit of the spears. I mostly use the spear because it's a good range weapon, right? You just you chuck a bunch of them, then you go, and it goes.
Triangle, and then you can blow a bunch of them up. Yeah, I will say I did use the Chains of Chaos a lot with the Berserkers, especially when there's like all three of them. I did, because I felt like my abilities were a lot. I felt like they did more damage. Maybe that was just me, but it seemed
you're talking about the runics.
Well, I guess the specific runics I was using for my Chain of Chaos. I want to say I was using. I forgot which one it was. There was one. Oh, there's one where it's like I take the chains and I'm just slamming the ground.
Right.
The velocity of of what I was doing, it was like blasting everybody up in the air.
Right.
Well, the bosses, like obviously when you're fighting the boss, they're not going up in the air, but it was dealing a lot of damage. I used that one, and then another one was. I'm trying to think what the other one was. I think it was just like where I was spinning around in a circle.
The way, when on you.
One. And if you upgrade it to level 3, as long as you keep pressing R2, you'll just keep going and going.
Oh yeah,
going.
I didn't know.
And then I use that a lot. I don't know. Maybe that's cheesing. I don't know. But when I leveled that up all the way,
whatever it takes, as long as it works.
That dealt a lot of damage, a lot. So.
Oh man, I didn't touch. I always went right for the axe. I mean, maybe it would have been a bit. I think that I died a lot to all the berserkers that were that had more than one enemy. Because I just wanted to always use the axe, except besides the one when there were 3 of them, there's one where there's 2 of them. More trouble on that one, because like one is the main brute, and the other ones are kind of weaker variations. But then there's a third fight when there's 2 of them, but they're both brutes. They're both as strong. They both have as much health, and the thing is, during that fight, there's a rhythm to it because they interchange, right? One is focusing on Freya, and the other one is focusing on you. But at some point, I think they're supposed to be like a married couple or something, or maybe not, but lovers at the very least. At some point, you're fighting the woman, At some point,
Yeah.
she goes, "Yes, find honor, my love."
Yeah,
And
get
that's
him,
when
my
we know
love.
that the
Yeah.
guy, yes,
Yeah, that's a good.
and,
That's a
and
good.
that's
I actually enjoyed that one. I enjoyed that one a lot.
yeah,
That
I
was a good
loved
one.
it. I loved it. I died a lot, but I loved it. It gives you a tell. That's your cue. As soon as you hear that, stop focusing on that one. Focus on the other one.
Yeah, that's right.
Because
Yeah.
it's always because it doesn't just it starts attacking you. It starts the first thing it does is unblockable attack, right?
Mhm.
So you gotta watch out. And at the end, so I don't know if I was doing something wrong, but at the end they start going like when they both have only like 25% health. They say, "Oh no, screw this," and they start fucking gang banging me. They both tag team me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do, right? What I ended
Chains
up
of
doing is
Chaos.
just well, I used the fucking what's it called the time stop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ding. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that the Zawordo is
Yeah.
that helped a lot. You do that, and then you throw all your runics at them. Every single
Yeah.
one. You get the axe, you use the two runics of the axe. You get the blades, the two runics of the blades. You get the spear, the two runics of the spear, and you pray to God that they die before you die.
Yeah, that's right.
That was my strategy.
Yeah, yeah. You pretty much. Yeah. I mean, that's like I remember when I was fighting the Valkyries in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That was like that's what I read everywhere. It was like as soon as the fight starts, just lay it all on your runics. Just unleash them all within the first like 30 seconds, and then just pray after that.
and that's exactly. And then you're on cooldown, and then you
Right.
wait until they're ready again, and then you do it again.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
but I found myself abusing them way less in this game. I don't know, and I cannot tell you why. Maybe because I found maybe they were a bit nerfed. I don't know. I did not find them as useful. I thought they were not doing as many damage, but maybe I was using the wrong ones.
Right.
But yeah, I will say that I did like the Berserker fights way more than I like the Valkyrie fights in a later game. Because I felt that the Berserker fights were a bit more varied. Although I will say there were a bit too many of them.
No
12
puns
fights.
intended, right? No pun intended. Because you said they're buried. Remember, you got to go to the Berserker graves. Get it?
Oh, right. Good.
I'm sorry, that was stupid.
No, it's pretty good. I just didn't get it. I sorry, I didn't get it. But I gotta say, like 12 is a bit much. 12 is like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, why not 8?
Huh.
Why not? I got to a point where I was just because like most of them are so easy, right? You got a few memorable ones. They're like 4 or 5. They're actually memorable. They actually have to work for it. The other ones, once you're in post game, they go down like nothing. You just fucking trudge through them. You shred them.
Right.
So and then the king is an asshole. I mean, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, he is.
Where do you fight?
Like
Where do you fight? Where do you fight him at? It's not in Vanaheim, is it?
Midgard.
Oh, it's in Midgard. Okay.
Midgard. There's like this one place. It's called like the King's Tomb or some shit like that. And once you defeat all the other berserkers, you go there, and his tomb kind of creates itself out of nowhere, out of rubble. It's pretty cool. And there's a funny thing that happens. So I tried to fight him, and I realized that I was unprepared for it. Like I didn't have the right equipment, didn't have the right strategies for him. So I doubled back. And when you double back, because every time you restart a checkpoint, you get the same dialogue from Emir who says, brother, now we are ready for the to face the king. And I left, and Kratos goes later. I just found that funny.
So what about were you going to add anything to that? I'm sorry. Were you going to say something else?
Nah, I'm good.
No, I was going to ask
are you going
you.
to fight about it? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to ask you about the Queen Valkyrie. The Queen Valkyrie. I tried her one time. I think at the time I was like a level 7, so I was higher up, but I wasn't like max. And
not high enough.
No,
not high enough.
No.
Did you eventually beat her?
I have not. I haven't beat her at all. I tried her like 3 times, and then I realized that I wasn't good enough, and she was just taunting me as I walked away. She was like, "Come back here and face me," and I'm like, "No, thanks."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because she's like there, and
she's at Muspelheim, right?
Muspelheim, yeah. Yeah, no,
How'd you beat her?
I think she's harder than like through oh my god, I don't know how to talk anymore. Sheer force of will. And you just gotta you learn the patterns and you stick to them and you don't fuck up. And
Right.
that's my pro tip. Don't fuck up. Because the
Don't fuck
problem, at least my problem with her, is that she kind of kills you in like 2 to 3 hits. She deals so much damage. And mind you, she was the last thing I did in the game. She was like the last thing I needed for 100%. So I got all the Idun apples. I got, all the possible upgrades. I had all the best gear, right? And I had like, my health was like ginormous, like my health bar. And she still kills me in like 2 hits. And that's my biggest problem with her, is that you do not have a lot of, margin for error. Like if you better learn all those combinations quick. You better learn which unblockable attacks come after which other attacks, what cues are come before certain attacks that you have to block in a certain way. If you don't learn quick, you're dead, right? And since she has this health bar, you do nothing to her. Like I had like the best damaging gear, right? Like the most strength I could muster, and I did no damage to her, dude. I can think I would have to swing at her for like, I think like 10 swings, maybe 15 swings was like for a little segment of her health. It's ridiculous. And you gotta, so the fight like lasts a lot, and you have to be perfect throughout the entire fight, right? One thing is learning the patterns, the other thing is sticking to them, remembering them throughout a very long fight. And by the end, of course, you start switching them up. It's honestly, at the end, I just go panic mode because I cannot be asked to learn the new patterns. I kind of wing it, and
Right.
yeah, I kind of wing.
But
I will say the cutscene that happens. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but it's a cutscene.
You
and
can
it's
if you
more.
want.
Oh,
You can if you want, because I'm not
it's
saying
more about.
I'm not saying I won't
Okay,
go back
fine.
and play it, but to be honest, I think I'm fine if you just tell me, because this is the Ragnarok episode.
Right.
So,
All right,
yeah,
sure.
no holds
So
bars.
the thing is, it's not like in the 2018. You got like a little cutscene where like her spirit flows out of Valkyrie King, and she goes, "Oh, thank you for everything," and that's pretty much it. No, here, so it's actually pretty surprising because Kratos goes in to do his classic kill move for the Valkyries. He rips their wings out, but he stops right before he rips them out. He stops, and the queen is like, "No, what are you doing? Finish me! I've been bested." And Freya tries to talk her out of it. She says, "No, Odin is dead. There's really no reason for us to fight. This is ridiculous." But Gna says, "No. I mean, this is I need to defend my valor. I swore an oath to Odin. I have to fight for him, even if it's death. This is just who I am." There's also like a lot of talk where like Gna thought she served Freya actually before, and she saw Freya as a traitress, right? Because she fought against Odin. So there's like this little dynamic between them. And at the end, Freya can understand there's no coming to terms with her. So when Gna asks her to kill her, she obliges. There's a scene where she, Kratos is still holding her by the wings, and Freya takes out her sword and chops her head off. Yeah, I think that's nice. It was a nice reward, for learning that fight, investing it. You also got a nice armor for Freya, and I think you got some amulets and some weapons, which is something that games always do, and I find ridiculous. They give you the best gear after you've done the most difficult thing in the game. Right. I really don't know what to do with it at that point.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I guess there's New Game Plus, or is there? I don't know.
Eventually, I don't think, not yet. I don't. They haven't put a photo mode or New Game Plus yet, which I'm kind of surprised they haven't done.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so look, real quick. So we're an hour in, and I haven't even given my full details on what I think about the game. We've been talking about in-game stuff. We talked about the small stuff. Talked about Brock and Sindri, right? Mm-hmm. So that's getting my thoughts a little bit, right?
Well, that's good. Go ahead, dude.
I found Ragnarok disappointing.
Oh, damn.
In the story, in the story department, I felt that narratively it was disappointing, and here's why. I wasn't attached to what was going on. And before you chime in, because you might have something, that's fine. I want you to combat me a little bit. There's no problem with that.
Okay.
So we know, like according to the prophecy and what the Giants had foreclosed in that drawing, that Ragnarok was coming and all this stuff was going to happen. The fight with Balder and all that stuff. Like they had already foreseen all this stuff happening, and we knew that Atreus was going to make. He was going to be a huge pinpoint, thing and within Ragnarok. Right? We knew that. My thing is, okay. You had mentioned when you were going through the things you really liked about this game. One of the things you mentioned was you felt like that you felt that it was dark. You felt that when you got to Ragnarok, it was satisfying. For me, I didn't feel that way. I felt like it wasn't as imposing as I wanted it to be. Like they kept mentioning Ragnarok. They kept mentioning, okay, yeah, this is the ending event. This is the end of the 9 realms
grand finale,
right?
yeah.
And I just didn't really feel that way. Not to skip to the end, but by the end of it, when Ragnarok happens and you're in Midgard, it doesn't feel like Midgard to me. And I'm not looking at it from like a Marvel lens, okay? Because Marvel and the real Norse stuff is obviously two different things.
Wait, you're talking about Midgard or Asgard?
Oh, I'm talking about Asgard, excuse me.
Okay.
When I'm thinking about Asgard, I picture it differently than the way it's conveyed in this game. It kind of just looks like a village to me. I was expecting it to look a little bit more, I guess, political. Yeah, like political. Like you see these big buildings, maybe big statues. It's not that they don't have those. I didn't really pay attention to points there, but I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen a more updated civilization. I think that would have been cool. And then Ragnarok itself just didn't feel as big to me. It felt like we went to a 40-minute fight where I got to fight Thor, which was cool. I love Thor. I've told you that in the last episode. And just to continue off of that, I think that he was like a really like not really a surprise because I knew Thor was going to be awesome. But I think towards the end of the game, I liked him even more because you realize he's just like Kratos, really. I mean, the parallels are uncanny. And I did like that. I felt like Odin was weak, not because of the actor, not because of his lines. I liked Odin all the way up to the end of the game. The reason why I wasn't really a fan of the end, and his boss fight in particular was kind of annoying. I felt that I wanted him to have a final form, like something like to show me that you are this is the All Father, man. This is the guy. You know what I mean? Okay. And I kind of wouldn't have minded have seen a very powerful version of him. Not that he isn't. Obviously he is. I would have liked to have seen him like, I don't know. I'm not saying he's got to be like Saturday morning cartoon, but
you wanted them to pull a Final Fantasy, is what you're saying. When they, when the guy turns into a fucking, larger than life monster.
I'm not even saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's not really. I guess really just. I just want him to be more imposing. Like let him have like cool armor, and he looks like a freaking. Maybe he looks like a Viking, right? Like maybe he has like just like a Viking gear on, and because he can shapeshift, right?
Right.
Just to see his final form, I think it'd been kind of cool.
Well, I mean, I think this is like a tangent, but Odin being able to shapeshift is kind of something that the writers of this game kind of made up. I mean, I'm not an expert. I just watched the video about it, but basically, although Odin was known to wear disguises, he was never mentioned to transfigure into other people. This is something that in this game made up. Oh, and on that note, I don't know if you know, but I'm gonna spoil you of one more thing. There's like this side quest that's, by the way, out of nowhere. So in Niflheim, at the Crow place, there's like this little side quest. If you go off the beaten path, you get to this prison, and Freya goes, "Oh, you've been there?"
Wait. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, this is Niflheim. Yeah. I've been there.
Niflheim. Yeah, you get to prison, and then
right?
You sit here.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. It's not even like that much.
Yeah, the real tier.
There's no fanfare. It's not celebrated. It's just out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, he's just standing there. Like he's like, "What's going on, guys? How's it going?"
It's good. Odin's not gonna like this. And they go, "Well, Odin's dead, so that's not a problem." They go, "Oh, is he now? Oh well. I'm gonna have to think about this for a while.
I need some time alone."
Exactly. I mean, it was so jarring to me. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And I thought that, okay, so he's probably gonna, because they mentioned him. Oh, we have like a safe place in the realms between, or whatever they're called. So after that, I went to Sindri's house because I was half expecting of finding him there, but
Yeah,
he's nowhere to be found.
yeah,
He even disappears from the place in Niflheim.
yeah. He shows up in almost
He's
every
just
realm, doesn't
there.
he?
Does he?
He shows up in other realms. I've seen him in Vanaheim.
Ah,
I saw him
I
in
didn't
yeah,
know that.
I saw him in Freyr's hideout. He's there,
Oh,
and he's what
oh,
I don't
that's
know
cool. Okay.
I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of like just sitting there, and I think Mimir's like, "How the hell did you get here?" kind of thing, and he's
Uh-huh.
like, "I've always been here," and he's like, "No, you haven't. You
Right.
were just." And yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
kind of it's a
It's a
weird
bit.
gag.
I mean, yeah, it's a bit tacked on. You think that? I mean, first off, Tyr is alive. I mean, it's kind of a
Mhm.
big revelation. It's not something to scoff at, right?
Right? Yeah, he's supposed to be the
Uh,
god of war, and he's just there. He's just sitting
you know,
there.
while we're the topic, okay, let's get a bit negative. While in the topic, I find that all the post-game cutscenes, if you want to call them, they're not really cutscenes. They're more like events that transpire in the world.
Hmm.
Are kind of let down. Like there's this one in Alfheim where
Hmm.
you find what's her Thrud, when you find Thrud with Mjolnir,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean you just kind of find her. She's there. She picks up
She
Mjolnir. She kind
picks
of
it up
flies
and she
away.
flies off. Yeah,
I mean it's kind of it feels uneventful. I don't know. It's I mean I guess
yeah.
it's cool that it's there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel like this game has a lot of letdowns. Like, and so anyway,
mhm.
so I the
Go
only
ahead.
reason
Go
I
ahead.
just want to we can get
Go
into
ahead.
more
No, no, no.
specifics,
I'll
but
let you finish.
I want to make sure I get my little piece in there. So I felt that was very uneventful. Ragnarok. I would have liked no Odin doesn't have to turn into a Final Fantasy villain. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that him having a cool like final form would have been nice because I thought his boss
Mhm.
battle was a little what's the kids say, mid, right? Is that the word? It was very
Mid,
mid.
mid. That's the word. Well,
That's
I
what
mean,
I
I like
felt.
it, but I like how they tag team him. Right? There's this quick time segment where
Hmm.
well, Kratos punches him, then Atreus kicks him, and then Freya goes in for another attack. That's
Yeah,
what made me like that fight. But yeah, I mean, I guess I can see your point. It would have been nice if you were a bit more imposing. If he did if
yeah,
you started, I don't know, summoning lightning out of nowhere. He goes, "Oh, you have no idea what you're coming up against," and
yeah. And I think too that the game could have really benefited from having some more like. And look, I know that, and you'd made the mention of these two games are supposed to be obviously a different shift from the original.
mhm.
I will say this, and I don't know how you felt. I mean, yeah, this is your game of the year, so I know
Mm.
you probably give this a 9 out of 10 if you're ranking out of 10, or a 10 out of 10 maybe. For me, like I felt like this game deserved another. I feel like this is two games wrapped into one, in my opinion. I felt very
Oh,
it was so like the beginning was fine, but I felt like towards the end there, like after you get the spear, the game's just kind of like you know what I mean,
it
like
goes on a
one thing
roller
after another.
coaster.
It almost felt like I didn't
Hmm.
have like a time like a minute to breathe, which I guess that's okay because obviously you got something going on like
Hmm.
constant. But I like those slower moments as well. But this game felt like it just kept. It almost seemed like they were trying. They knew that the finish line was coming. Like as soon as you get the spear,
Hmm.
it's like, oh holy shit! Like we're getting close. Like we gotta speed this up. And like and then all the
Huh.
stuff with all the stuff with Heimdall happens, and you go to Muspelheim one time with Thor looking for that piece of the mask, and you're doing all this. I don't know. I felt like the game could have really benefited from being split up into two instead of this being
Okay.
two games, make it a trilogy give me a little bit more time with Atreus. See, that was my problem with this game. A lot of it was Atreus. Now, as I got further into the game, I liked him
Hmm.
a little bit more. I liked that he fled the bird's nest and he told his dad, "There's
Hmm.
something I have to do. I want your help, but I need to do it myself." And I love that. I love their last little encounter. Like seeing Kratos really open up, and you see him like get, kind of like not really crying because he's sad, but crying because he's all like he's proud. And but then
Hmm.
you see this hopeful side of him, like I don't have to be this god of vengeance anymore. I can actually be like just a good person. Like screw being a god,
Right. Yeah.
And I love those parts, but I just don't know. Like Atreus to me, man, he just I guess because he's a teenager and he's got that teenager angst, and we all go through it. Like we've all been, let's say Atreus is like 14 or 15, maybe he's 16. I don't know. We've
I
all
think
been
it's
around
14.
those. Yeah, okay. Well, that's even worse, right? We've all
Hmm.
been around that age where we get like nippy with our parents and we don't listen and stuff. But he was just getting like really like it made sense for what he was doing. Like it's not that he was doing anything particularly bad, but then the day I think Kratos, what he learned at the end was like letting his son make these choices, right? Because like when I made a video on the channel talking about my thoughts after first beating the game, and I talk about how I think Kratos learns throughout the story that he moved to this land. Atreus was born in it. So Atreus has like he has a whole different perspective than Kratos does. Kratos like, dude, I've met gods. I've killed them. I know they're all assholes. Like I can't trust them. And we come to find out these guys are not really much better. And that brings me to another thing too. And I don't know how much you know about Norse mythology. I don't know a lot. I didn't feel like there was a lot of gods in this game. Did you get that feeling? Because Heimdall, Odin, and Thor, right? And Freya.
Thor. And then Thor's family.
Right.
You know, you got.
They're gods. Yeah, I guess so.
Speaking of, they're Aesir, right?
Yeah, Aesir, yeah.
Speaking of, I will get back to what you said, but I don't want to forget this. There's one part. There are a few parts of the story, a few cutscenes. When I said that I really like the writing, there are a few things that kind of baffled me. There's this scene during Ragnarok where you take control of Atreus, and you face through it, and she's pissed, right? And she thinks, all right, so, I trusted you, right? I trust your little wishy-washy stories. And this is what you do. You bring fucking war to my house, right? To my doorstep. And he's like, oh, shit. He doesn't know what to say, right? She's kind of right. And I thought, oh, this is going to be like a face-off, right? Because I kind of like the little relationship they've been having, right?
Yeah.
He had like this little crush on her. But it's also like very complicated because it's not really a crush. I don't know. But it's kind of...
Yeah, I don't know.
It wasn't a crush. No. It wasn't that. But it was more like he really wanted to be your friend, right? He really cared. But at the same time, they're kind of enemies. I think I said crush because it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. Where they are kind of... Yeah, they're destined to be enemies, right? That's what I meant to say. But, in all these complicated feelings, they climax in this one cutscene when he kind of has to admit, yeah, I did bring Ragnarok to your doorstep. It's kind of what I do, and I was and I was really like I was really interested to see how it's going to play out, and then it just ends in the most weird way. So out of nowhere, right? Her mom shows up. By the way, her mom, who's been she's been antagonizing Atreus a lot. She's being very one-sided in this. All of nowhere, she says, no, my daughter, he's right. He's actually a very good guy, and you should trust him. And I was like, all this time, like me and my roommate, we've been like, okay, there's got to be Odin. There's got to be Odin, like, playing a trick. We were so sure, because he's so, A, out of character for her, and B, such a cop-out, such a deus ex machina. Out of nowhere, like, you got this very good emotional climax happening, right? About to happen, and it just blows over.
Yeah.
And by the way, can we talk about Blondie, showing up? Like, I know he's like one of the many Midgard people from Midgard, that got to Asgard, but he's the only one that we ever see. He keeps showing up everywhere.
Yeah, right.
And he shows up there,
You talking about the blonde?
What's his face? Yeah, the blonde guy.
The one you meet before you climb the wall of Asgard.
Exactly, him. Yeah, him. Okay. Blondie.
Yeah, right. He just comes out of nowhere.
He's killed. He's just there. He's like
maybe it was Odin. I mean, maybe it might have been.
Maybe it was Odin, right?
You don't know. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, but Eric Williams, he's the director for this game. He was talking about like different instances where Odin has showed up, and we didn't really think about it. And yeah, are you talking about the guy on the bridge when you're going into
the bridge? Yeah.
Svartalheim. That's it. The guy walked across the bridge, and apparently that was Odin right there. And that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know if that's bullshit or not, but
I mean, I think it's such a. I don't know how to take it, because, yeah, I mean, I can take your word for it, but there's really nothing that indicates it, right?
Mhm.
Like he just shows an NPC that okay, he is doing like a rude gesture, but that does not. I mean, that could be characteristic of a dwarf. Just any dwarf who doesn't like outsiders. I really see that. Oh, that makes sense. That was Odin all along. Like it wasn't like this big revelation to me. Like you couldn't put it out to any NPC and say, "You see that is actually Odin." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, dude!" Like you could have said, like what
Yeah.
does that mean to me? Imagine if I don't know. What's another game where people? I don't know. Imagine like if the director of the Harry Potter movies, right? He shows one scene from Deathly Hallows when they go to Godric's Hollow, right?
Mhm.
They show like one character going. You see that character right there? That's actually a Death Eater sent by Voldemort. And I'm like, what am I like? What am I supposed to do with that? I mean, that's cool, dude. I don't.
That's right. That's right.
um,
Yeah. You see Hagrid. He's not. That's not actually a character. That's he who must not be named. That's just been him the whole time.
the whole
Even
time.
even when he got banned
Most-
to even when he got banned to Azkaban and all that stuff, that was him the entire time.
That's part of that. That's part of the
He's-
grand plan.
He was yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't know. And he talks about it, and people in the maybe I'm an asshole because I see people in the comments going, "Oh my god, the attention to detail in this game is amazing," and I do agree with that. But it's not these things that amaze me. It's
Yeah,
not the director pointing out something that we would never be able to figure out on our own because there's this like it's such a obscure detail, right?
Mhm.
And there's really nothing to indicate it. Not,
Well,
I mean, it's not that I don't believe him. I'm just saying that it's such a what's the word? It's superfluous. It's such a superfluous thing that I don't know what to do with it.
well, the character model, that he
Mhm.
says is Odin. Can we see him clearly, or is it kind of like
It's a
blurred?
dwarf.
So it's definitely
It's
a
a
dwarf,
dwarf.
but you can't. Can you see what they look? Can you see what he looks like though?
Oh
Like
well,
his face.
okay. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I mean, you see him from far away. I guess maybe if you hack the game, then yeah, you can like see him from up close. But yeah,
Mhm.
you can see him too well. I mean, even if you did, like, what's your point? That if you see him well, you can see he has like a little eye patch. Is that what you're gonna say? And that's like, ooh, it's Odin.
Yeah, it's Odin,
the
and really
attention.
he just.
I mean, actually, you know what? Well, that makes me rethink the whole game. This is actually a masterpiece. 10 out of 10. There's Odin spitting on us from a bridge, man.
Yeah, yeah. I take back my 9. You get a 10 because you put
You
Odin
get
on that
it.
bridge.
Right, but I disguised those, that.
Yeah, but yeah. So I felt so. Go back to the story. I think my
Mhm.
biggest thing about this game is for me is the story. I just felt that it was very like I didn't really feel anything like 2018. I felt like it was more personal story. Like I
Oh,
know
it was.
you had mentioned that one thing that you I don't know if you didn't like it, but you're more of like you were let down that there wasn't a huge like more of like a spectacle at the end, right? Is that kind of what you were talking
Yeah,
about?
that is what
And
I said.
I
Yes.
was fine with it not being that way because obviously they were showing that Boulder was the main threat here, and that relationship between him and his mother, and then you coming to find out the big twist, right? He wasn't coming there for Kratos. He was looking for Freya the whole time, but he didn't know that's who he's looking for. He
You
just
mean
knew that,
Faye?
right. And so Faye, yeah, not Freya. Excuse me. I guess I was shipping Kratos and Freya the
He
whole
doesn't
time.
pray. Yeah.
I was, man. I was like, dude, Kratos, come on, man,
Yeah.
dude. She
Do your thing, dude.
come on,
Yeah,
man. There's
God, could you
actually
imagine?
there's a piece of dialogue. Yes, I can actually. There's a piece of dialogue where she says something along the lines of Atreus. No, what she say? Atreus needs a mother or something like that. It says something along the lines of like kind of like stepping up to the plate. Do you remember that? Do you know that? Do you know
Right.
what I'm talking about? She says something
I do
like
not.
that.
I do not.
Dang it, I can't remember what
But
she
it sounds
said.
like something. But it does sound like something she would say. Like it's not.
Yeah, it sounded
Right.
poetic the way
Right.
she
Right.
said it, but she came off. She was like, "Yeah, like he needs a mother, and I'd be willing to something. I don't know." And I was like, "Oh, so
Well,
what? So
okay,
if
but
you're willing to do that, what else are you willing to do?"
oh, what else are you gonna say while you're at it, right? When it should be a good wife to create us? What you're gonna say? I mean, Faye isn't around, and we just killed my husband, so I guess this is a good time as any to get some. Imagine that hooking up with a killer of your ex-husband, man.
Well, and he killed your son too.
It kills your son too. The guy kills your husband and your son, and you hook up with him.
Yep, and then he's like,
And you take care of his son.
yeah.
It's like the ultimate cock.
I hope it
Ultimate cock
happens. I hope it
story, right?
happens. I hope it happens. That's
Oh, yeah.
brilliant writing. Brilliant.
That's real writing. Yes, exactly. I got.
Yeah,
And while we're at it, one thing that
yeah.
I did like is that. I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No,
You
no,
had
go
something
ahead.
else to say. I was gonna say that one thing that made all the post game grind a bit more tolerable was all the dialogues that they had throughout the exploration. It was, some of it was insightful, but some of it was just very entertaining. There's this one, I don't know if you caught it, where Mimir, I thought Kratos is saying, Mimir, do you think that I prepared Atreus for his journey? And Mimir goes, I mean, you did what you could. And then he goes, well,
You know
I'm
what you
talking
could,
about
brother.
Yeah, exactly. But then he goes, I'm speaking of, him and Angerboda, it seems like I have a thing going on. Did you teach Atreus how to woo? He goes, he says it like that.
Yeah.
And Mimir says, well, I taught him how I wish I would have wooed, brother. Yeah, no, I really like this.
Yeah, those comments he makes about like missing his body is hilarious. Like he misses it, but almost like he just appreciates just being along for the ride, just being chained at Kratos' hip while his head is just doing this all day.
God, I bet he's so glad he doesn't have a stomach, because like I would get so dizzy.
Mm-hmm. Watch out, brother!
Like every time Kratos rolls, imagine what's that from like Mimir's perspective.
Dude, he falls the wrong way and he gets just bashed in the face. Behind you, brother!
God, I hated that so much. You know what? I hated their little helpful comments. I said behind you, but behind me is such a like abstract concept, because they were like attacking me from all over the place. Like, what is it? What do you mean behind?
Yeah, to the left a little, like, is it to the right? Yeah.
Well, none of that. Like, I would have like 5 enemies at me, like from all directions. They go like, "Oh, watch out for the left." Oh, okay, good.
Oh, thank God for that.
Thanks for that, right? Because
navigation didn't really screw me up until the end. The end game, I think the navigation sucks. But after you telling me that, I might that might make things a bit better. Like as soon as I get back into the crater, go to the left, I'll try that, and maybe that'll be better. But still, I don't even know if I want to anymore. I'm not like you. I don't 100% the game anymore. I don't do that. So,
honestly, the problem with the post game is that so God of War is a linear game. All right, let's be real. It's a linear game that pretends to be like open world at the end, and it's really not. It's not fun to rethread your steps. It's really not. You have like mostly because like it becomes so obvious that these levels were not designed to be explored so thoroughly, right? There's this one thing that really pissed me off. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not going to tell you the place exactly because I don't remember myself where it was, but it was in Vanaheim, and it was up north, not in the crater. It was the place you explored during the story. It was up north. It was like there's like an abandoned village, and there's a key item or a key fight behind this rubble, but you can see through the rubble. You can see. I can almost like taste it. Right, it's so close, but I cannot. And I was like looking all over the place. How do I get there? How do I get there? And guess what? I cannot get there from this zone, even though it's literally inches away from me.
Right.
What you gotta do, you gotta go all the way back to Freyr's camp, get in a boat, go around it, and that's how you get to it. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And I can see it as I'm picking it up. I can see the place where I was at, half an hour ago at this point. I was right there. Yeah. They could not. It's like they made this on purpose. And you know what makes it even worse? Is that if there were like only a few things, like only the Berserker Stones, only like a very few selected special upgrades scattered around, let's say 10 per world, now that would be okay. But no, you know how many collectibles are around the game? If you take like all the ravens, all the chests, all the fights, all the side quests, it mounts up to 400 things to pick up all over the game. 400. And again, like this game is pretending to be a collectathon, and it really isn't, because it's not fun to collect stuff. When you play Spyro, When you play Jack and Daxter, it's fun to run around and collect things because the levels have been designed purposely to be like that. Nothing is too hidden. You just gotta work around. Eventually, you'll get it. In God of War, it's a fucking nightmare. Honestly, it's if I didn't have the guides, I would have just fucking wanted to blow my brains out. And I almost did, even with the guide. It was really excruciating.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like I used to do that. Like when I was I remember in particular when Final Fantasy 12 came out. And this is years ago now. I was like in the 4th or 5th grade when I was playing that game. Do they still sell those big manuals, like the manuals for the games? Do you know if they still do that?
I don't know. I think it became more of a niche thing. So now they're like hardcover, and they go for like a bunch of money. But they still exist.
When I was playing Final Fantasy 12 to find some of the best treasures, obviously I was like flipping through this manual trying to find them, and that's fun for like, I don't know. Let's say I'm playing for 30 hours. It's fun for maybe 30 hours, but then after that, I don't really want to look through a guide anymore. And now, especially with me, like if I have to pick up a guide to try to find where the hell to go, I almost feel like kind of stupid a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't feel that way, but like I'm playing God of War Ragnarok, and before, I was having trouble trying to get. All I was trying to do, I was trying to beat all the berserkers because I was having a blast doing that. It felt good. I felt like I was actually in the game. Not that they're super hard, but they're challenging enough. And I felt I don't know. I was just having time fighting him, and I was ready to. All I had was one more left before I had to fight the king, and I could not figure out how to get over to that middle island. I'm like, dude, this is such bullcrap. I look it up online. They don't even tell me where to go to bring water back into the canal. I'm glad you told me that because I could not find anybody that told me that. I was looking up on YouTube and I was already seeing water running. And I'm like, whoa, like
what the hell? Yeah.
Is my game broken or something? Like, why isn't so
yeah, that's anyway, the worst feeling. Yeah.
I just the navigation, yeah, like I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think that it really did a good job of making it look like it was open world, but it was not designed to be that way. And I'm not going to say that's a downfall because there's a lot of content here, and a lot of it is quality. There's a lot of busy quests too. Like pick up a flower from each realm and all that shit. But yeah, I don't know.
The way I differentiate them is that. So here's the thing. I think that in the first game in 2018, most of the side quests were just like that, just busy work. Just go there, collect this, come back. And they were most of them from the little ghosts, right? But in Ragnarok, when I started playing first, I saw that most of the side quests were like actual characters. I got me really excited because the side quests were actually very involving. They had a ton of story, right? They actually cleared up some facets about the characters. You got Mimir talking about how he changed this beast, right? And the quest in itself is really fun. And then when playing post game, the ghosts show up, the fucking ghosts, and that's how you can tell that a side quest in God of War Ragnarok is going to be fun or not. If one of the ghosts gives it to you, it's going to be fucking boring because mostly just find this item. They just go, oh well, I'll never be at peace unless I find this hourglass. And I'm like, well, where is it? I'm like, oh well, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, imagine this. Imagine like you're a deathless soul, and you're bound to the mortal realm because you cannot get over the fact that you cannot find your hourglass or whatever. I know it's deeper than that, but that's the gist of it, right? You think, right, that you would spend all the thinking to at least think of where it could be, right? I don't know, maybe they're bound to the space they're in, but at least, I mean, if you've been here for years, right, just in woe, in incredible anguish because of this hourglass, at least make up a few theories. I don't know, if you're so desperate for help, make sure that once you get it, they actually have a good chance of finding it without a guide.
Do your homework.
Right? I don't know.
You're sitting there for all eternity anyway, just like
right? Exactly. Like I'm freed you from your eternal torment, and this guy is just like, oh damn, they just feel sorry for themselves. I cannot believe them. They're like, I mean, That's all they do. It just indulge in self pity. I can.
Yeah, it's always their lifeless body is just laying on the ground, and when you see them, and they
They
just
go
come out of.
right. They go like, they go
Yeah,
having fun.
yeah, that the navigation is it got progressively worse, especially at the post game. But I thought all the realms were designed beautifully, with the exception of Asgard. I just thought Asgard was very
Yeah, I want to tell you
boring.
about that. Actually, about your comment. I found this game's Asgard refreshing. Okay, I
Okay,
might agree with you that maybe a few more imposing buildings would have been nice. When we got
like
to Odin's,
architecture, just have a little bit more architecture.
because
You
I
know
like
that.
there's a little village part, but I do
Yeah,
agree that maybe like Odin's mansion, make it more grandiose.
yeah, it felt like it
You
was a
can look.
bungalow.
I mean, I honestly feel it looked like a really nice house, but it didn't look like the lair of the Allfather, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do like how I look like the aesthetic of it. Actually, I'm kind of sick. I think like ever since Marvel did the space
Hmm.
Asgard, every
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
Asgard after that had to be in space, and I'm
Yeah.
so
No,
sick of it.
I
I like
agree.
this
Yeah.
one is more earthbound. I like the
Yeah.
tall wall. I really like that part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Um,
fine. I'm fine with that.
mhm,
That's fine. I
mhm,
just I'm not saying it had to been like super futuristic or anything. I'm just saying like
mhm,
just I don't know. Like when I'm thinking about the big bads of the game, I want to
mhm.
see them look big bad. They just look like they look no worse than
just chill,
Kratos.
just chilling, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sit on these
Yeah,
high thrones, you know.
yeah, right. You make
I
them
would
look
have liked
fucking
to see.
evil, right?
Yeah, yeah. What? Come on, hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Don't tell me the villains in
Who?
Kingdom Hearts, right? The 13, right? Organization 13. There you go.
Organization
Have
13,
these
yeah.
big ass thrones and they're in a freaking room. Like that was kind of cool, you know?
That's fine.
I don't know.
Well,
Kind of
yeah.
lame, but cool,
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is cool. Well, that is a bit too anime, I think, for God of War, but I do agree that
Well,
something more
yeah, yeah.
imposing,
Something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying
something
that
like
like
that. Yeah,
that, you
yeah.
know?
But
Yeah.
going back to Odin, yeah. But I don't know. I really like. I think that Odin himself, the character, the way he was written, the way the actor portrayed him, I think kind of sold me on it.
Yeah,
You know, like
I agree.
he
I
said,
agree.
you can tell he's just a sly bastard. You know, even Amir says it. You cannot believe a word he
Where are
said.
you, you little shit? Where are you?
It. Oh yeah, yeah, man. If this man tells you snow is white, he's lying. He's lying.
Yeah,
I love it. I
we
love
can have peace. I can even protect you
it.
from my ex. Like he was just
All
talking
right,
like a normal person. Like, yeah, I can
right.
even save you from my
And then, but
ex. You don't even have to worry about her.
yeah, but yeah, but he's so scared with it. Like he's just so comforting, so calming, right? And when he talks to Atreus, he's like, "Well, you see, my dear boy, I just, all I want is just to solve this mystery of like this rift or whatever it was. I don't want Ragnarok as much as you don't."
Hmm.
Um, very predatory, I might say, very gaslighting.
Hmm.
As the
Yeah,
kids would say.
that's a
Mhm.
better one. Yeah, yeah, I did like him as a character, and you can't talk about the antagonist without bringing up Thor. Thor was great. I
Thor
wouldn't even
was
call him an
fantastic.
antagonist, man. I think he was just conflicted. I think he's a lot
Oh,
like
he was. Mhm.
Kratos in that retrospect of like he's his all powerful being, but he doesn't want to be like that. That's why he's getting drunk in the cavern every day. You know, when he
Well,
doesn't have a
yeah.
job for Odin. You know, I did
Yes.
like that sequence. I did like that the big bar fight.
the bar fight, that was the bar brawl, that was nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
also
that.
liked his whole dynamic with Odin, right? This whole
Hmm.
thing where he would not stand up to his father, even though his whole family would be better off if he did.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and when he does, Odin fucking kills him. Tragic.
yeah,
Uh, I was surprised to that to see Thor die by the hand of Odin. I was
yeah. It
like,
was. It just sucked. It just kind of just happened, and I
I
would have.
liked it.
I just wish it was a little bit more. Yeah, but see, again, I go back to I
Okay,
wanted more. I wanted more.
okay, I will agree on I will agree on you on one thing. Well, Ragnarok, I did. Now that I think about it, it is a bit lacking in the sense of we do see the beast of Ragnarok. He does push down the gate, and that's about it. He kills Freyr, which is one of the few things that the game that remain faithful to the myth.
Mhm.
Surtur kills Freyr, but what happened to Jormungandr, dude? You hyped me up for it in the beginning of the game.
Mhm.
You show Thor and him fighting in the distance, and that's about it. Thor, I don't know what happened. Jormungandr giving a timeout. They sort of just say, "Oh well, hold on. I see the main character. He's coming close to Odin. I got to be the mid boss fight. You know what it was." And Jormungandr goes, "Oh yeah, no, I get it, dude."
Yeah, it's kind of weird. He went up there. He like smacked Jormungandr, smacked him. He like went flying, and then Thor went for Kratos. But I don't know if you know this. You probably do because you seem like you kind of research some of this stuff. You didn't know that version of the World Serpent is actually the one that Atreus put the soul of the giant into. So obviously it's the same character.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah, so the soul that giant soul that he put into that snake, that's actually him. That's just him in the past. Because these realms, they I forgot how they explain it, but they manipulate time in a sense because like in Midgard, Jormungandr's old. You can see like he's got like moss growing underneath his chin. He kind of
he's huge.
Yeah, and he knows
the snake is small though when he puts the soul in.
Right. And he knows Atreus. He knows him. He knows Kratos. Like he's obviously full of knowledge. He's been around for a while.
So I was wondering what happened with that.
So the world serpent that Thor was fighting was actually just the one that's grown up from the serpent that it got bigger, and that's the one that Thor was fighting. And so then, because I think when Thor was fighting the world serpent, I'm gonna have to look it up now. When he's fighting him, when he hits him, I think Jormungandr doesn't he like get hit into a realm? I think he gets like smacked into another realm, and that takes him to Midgard.
I don't recall.
I think he gets smacked into another realm, and that realm just happens to be Midgard, and that's the one you end up seeing. Because don't you remember all like the Thor statues being torn up in Midgard, like they're like knocked over and ripped up? I think that's him ripping up the
knocking him off. Oh,
yeah. I believe so because you see a lot of like downed statues of Thor in 2018, and I think Atreus says, "Mimir, why are these statues all in shambles?" And he mentions.
Do they explain this in game?
What about the about the putting the soul
this whole
into
thing?
So when I was it's Atreus and Angrboda, right? Where were they at? I can't remember. When she gives him when Angrboda gives Atreus the sack of marbles, right? Or whatever you call them, orbs, whatever. They have the giant souls. She gives it to him, and there's like a snake inside of her grandma's place. Is that her grandma or mom or something?
Yeah, the grandma. And then I don't remember why, but he
I don't remember why either. I don't remember why he does that either. But he puts the soul. Oh, it's dead. I think it's dead.
No, it's dead, and he wants to revive it.
For some reason, he wants to revive it. So, I think it's like according to prophecy, right? I think he just knew that was something he had to do, so he puts the soul in there. You can look it up. I know it probably sounds nuts. It kind of blew my mind when I actually had to look more into it because it's not in your face. You got to look it up. But it actually is. If you look it on the wiki page, it says that is the same snake that he puts a soul into. That's the one that Thor is fighting.
Wow. And so really wondering what happened to that scene.
So technically, the world serpent that you see in Midgard, like in 2018, already fought Thor at this point. Like that already happened. That's
crazy.
It's kind of it is kind of nuts.
Well, think about it. Because according to the myth, Jormungandr is supposed to kill Thor, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I thought that what they did in the game is they pulled a 180 and Thor killed the world serpent, and that's when he comes to the rescue of Truth. That's what I thought happened, but now you're telling me that he blew it back in time to the game that came out 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was understanding is that it knocked him into like. It hit him so hard and knocked him back. Well, knocked him forward in time. Like he went back to Midgard, and then that's just where he's been at this whole time. And that's why you see all those statues, in shambles because he's like, screw Thor, man.
Fuck that guy. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting when you think about it. Yeah, but so stuff like that they did good. Like I said, that the final battle was horrendous. I thought, and I'm speeding up now because I don't want this going, 3 hours long here. But I thought the Atreus sections were slow. I thought some of them were good, mind you, because last time we talked, the last one I'd been through was the one where you go to Jotunheim and you meet Angrboda. I thought that was trash the whole time. Not really trash, but it was just boring.
I mean, nice story wise, but gameplay wise was pretty boring. Just doing chores.
I felt like, all right, so this is going to sound like a backhanded a compliment, I guess, or maybe even a diss rather. I felt like I was playing Kingdom Hearts in a sense where, so I'm playing as these younger people, which I don't have a problem with that, but the boss battle with the grandma, right? Her weak spot was the pot that she was holding, and I thought that was like very reminiscent to Kingdom Hearts. I didn't really feel like that was God of War to me. Like, really, her weak spot is her pot? Are you kidding me?
That she carries around.
I just felt like that was like really like childish. Like that whole section to me just didn't feel mature.
It didn't. Yeah, it was kind of. It felt like something out of a fairy tale, right? So like there's a giant grandma, and you gotta destroy the pot, and two kids. They're just trying to. Yeah, I get it.
The game. Look,
I don't know. I don't know if I would associate it to Kingdom Hearts.
But... Well, I'm just. That's what I've obviously like. I think like obviously the big set piece that the Kingdom Hearts has shits on that. I'm just saying like as far as like the big pot and she's stumbling all over the place. I just felt like that was very Disney to me. But anyway,
it was very Disney. I completely forgot about the section.
I don't know how you're going to handle it from here on out. But all right, let me say this. You mentioned it earlier. I'm going to say it again. I see no replay value in this game, and I'm not having 100% the game. I'm not playing through those Atreus missions again. I'm sorry, dude. They're boring, I don't want to play as Atreus. I want to play as the God of War, and I understand what they were doing, and I was fine with it. But dude, if I go back and do a second playthrough, I'm not going to have as much fun because I know what's coming now. Like in Ragnarok, when I was playing through the first time, there was still a lot that you didn't know about. But now that I know that those slower sections are coming, I'm going to be in the groove of combat. I'm going to be in the groove of getting through the story parts that I really like, and then I'm going to be stuck at these parts that I don't want to play. And so for me, and I know that the general consensus is people like Atreus and they like that story. Hell, there's a lot of people that say they want a sequel with his character. I'm not playing it, but you know what? If they do it, fine, cool. I don't care. I'm not playing it because I like Atreus, but all right. So that's how I explain it, and I'm gonna say this, and then we'll kind of give final thoughts, and because I can see you're looking tired of scrap, so we're gonna try to tie this up. How I describe this to my wife, because I was telling my wife about it. She's not really into gaming as like we are, but I was telling her like there's a difference between the attachment I have towards Ellie and the attachment I have Ellie from Last of Us and Atreus from God of War. Now I like Atreus because Kratos obviously loves Atreus and that's his son, so I care for him. But for some reason, I guess I just have more of I felt like Ellie was just overall I don't know if a better character is the right word. I guess I liked her writing a bit more than the way Atreus was in a sense where I felt like I cared. So like when I play as Ellie in the first Last of Us, I could get behind that. You know what I mean? I felt like that was like, I didn't want to play as her the whole game either, right? I wanted to play as big burly Joel smashing dudes' faces into the wall, right? That's what I want to do. But I didn't hate playing as Ellie. I think because I guess I found her story when I was by herself. I found it more intriguing to me to see what she's doing because now she's alone. Like those segments where Joel is incapacitated and he can't, move. He can't really get up. He's like almost in a coma, right? And she's looking for food and she runs into David and all that stuff. I guess, and maybe that just comes down to writing, man, because I have a problem with writing in this game. So maybe that's what it is. But I just felt like I had more attachment to her. And even like toward like, even when you go back as Joel and she's just your companion, I care for her. I genuinely care for her. Atreus, I don't. I find Atreus very whiny. He's just very whiny. He's not, I don't know.
Well, okay, so I got two things I have to say about that. So, first off, I think I already said this, but I'll reiterate it. So basically, I don't think it's too much of a fair, gameplay-wise, maybe so, but I think story-wise, it's not a very fair comparison to compare the Alice segments and the Atreus segments, because at the Alice segment, I mean, at least the very first time you play through it, you kind of think that Joel is dead, right? Because what you see is that the cutscene where Joel just goes out, he has like this huge gaping hole in his fucking, in his whatevs, right? And he gets down the horse, right? She goes, Joel, you get a time skip, and Ellie's by herself. You're like, oh shit, and you're playing as her. Like, oh shit. So I think it has more of an impact. You kind of accept it more because it's like this huge 180, right? Where that's what helps you accept. It's more like it's like shock therapy, right? Like, oh shit, I guess Ellie's on her own now, right? I guess I gotta help her. I gotta see this through, right?
Yeah, right.
There's that. Well, with Atreus, it's mostly just we got a timeout from Kratos' gameplay, and Atreus goes, "Oh shit, gotta sneak behind my dad's back. I gotta go on my own little adventure," and it is less intriguing. It is less interesting. So I guess that's what it doesn't draw you in as much. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I said yes, Atreus is a bit more whiny because he didn't have it as rough as Ali did. I think that there's that. So I guess that's what makes us more attached to Ali in some way. Atreus, he's a little whiny. At least he's more of a normal kid, right? He's not. Of course, he did have a kind of a rough patch, right?
Right.
And he is like also a skilled fighter and whatever. But it's not like Ali. Ali actually, she's seen some stuff. And the final thing that makes us accept more the Ali section is, I think that, as you said, it makes you. I think that like the writing does make you more attached to Ali. I think it's because in The Last of Us you kind of see Joel and Ellie's relationship, how from the get go. You see it develop from since they meet, and you see all their ups and downs all the way to the end. You kind of meet as Joel. You meet Ellie through Joel, right? Joel is our avatar, right, through which we meet all these characters, including Ellie, right? Well, with God of War, Kratos and Atreus already know each other from the beginning, right? And they do have also a very developing relationship, but it's not the same as us. We kind of see this as an outside viewer. We see a father and a son learning how to bond. Well, in The Last of Us, yes, Joel is bonding with Ellie, but we are also bonding with Ellie because she's as much a stranger to us as she is to Joel. On God of War is not so. Yeah, here's how I see it.
That's a good point. I mean, that's fair because we don't really know Ellie, but we assume that Kratos and Atreus' relationship is different compared to Joel and Ellie's. Well, at least at the beginning, anyway. You know, we obviously know that Joel grows that fatherly compassion towards her later on in the game, but I don't know. Like, in this situation, it's a little bit harder to really. That's why, like, when I made my video, it was more of like a first impressions because I didn't know exactly like how to really go into it. Other than the fact of I didn't find his parts really intriguing. There was only one. The only time I really enjoyed playing as him was when he went back to Odin to spy for our group. To go back and see.
I love that part.
I did think that was good. Where they go to Niflheim with Thor, I believe, and that's when Thor is about to beat the crap out of him, and then he just is like, "Oh, bye," and he leaves like really quick.
I love the beginning part too when he's going to Asgard. You know, he meets Heimdall. It felt really exciting and it felt very dangerous.
And I like how they made Heimdall just a straight up asshole, just so you
can kill him. Yeah, he's a fucking
that way when
you know what he reminded me. I might have said this already, but he reminded me a lot from the what's he called, the messenger in God of War 3, the messenger of the gods. What's his name?
Is it Hermes?
Hermes, yes, the one with the quick feet.
That's right.
I thought it design wise and also personality wise, it kind of looked very similar.
Yeah, he was straight up dick. But I mean, he was. I wouldn't say he was written. I think he was just more of just like you had to have that one god that because what they do a good job of in these narrative games, especially by Sony, they do a good job of this where in any good story, whenever you have a villain, if you can make them relatable, that's a damn good villain because they're doing terrible things. But the things they're saying are not like exactly terrible.
They're convincing you, yeah.
Heimdall is an absolute jackass. So like it like when you go to kill him, which all right, that's another thing. And like I said, we won't have to wrap this up, but I will say with Heimdall, and again, I think a lot of my complaints is I want more, and I think the reason why I think this was supposed to be a 3-parter, and they just like said, nah, we're not doing that, and so like I wish Heimdall, I wish we could have like kind of brutally killed him. I think that would have had a little bit more weight because think about it, if he said so, like Kratos already put the one staff into his arm, blew his arm up, he's on the ground. I would have, if he would have kept talking, I would have liked to see him kind of Kratos go back to his old ways a bit and like gut this dude. And then like you see him right there, like I can just see him like covered in blood, like with his, like and like holding his hands.
What have
out.
I done?
And it's like covered, and he's like, oh crap. And I can just, and like Mimir was doing that, like, oh my god, brother, you shouldn't have done that, kind of like that. But if he would have been covered in his blood, think about how scary that would have been for Kratos. Because he's like, holy shit, I let my vengeful past is really here. Like it like what I did, and seeing him kind of get back to where he needs to be, and I think that would have been kind of interesting, to be honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't been on board with the whole this game should have been split in two thing, because I think that
Okay.
one thing that I wanted to say is that I think that you said that you enjoy the slower parts, and I said that this game has a bit too many of them. I feel like there's this weird thing where there's a sense of urgency because Ragnarok is coming. No, we got to get ready.
I don't feel that though. I
And
don't
at some
feel that
point,
the entire time.
you
Like
know,
at all.
I felt like they're talking about we got to get ready for
Mimir,
Ragnarok, but at the same time, yeah,
right? Because Mimir will be like, "Hold on, brother. Let's explore a little bit. Since we're already here, we can explore." Like, why would I explore?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. There's like this weird dichotomy where at one point, oh shit, we got to get ready for Ragnarok. At another point, well, you know what? We could do a bit of errands here and there. I'm like, no, we can't. No, we can't. Literally, we're getting ready for war. So, I think that the game is already too slow as it is, and even like the main quests, I think there's a lot of chores. I mean, imagine I think I said this to someone else, but like so you know how in Harry Potter Deathly Hallows, part one is kind of the build up, right?
Oh, right.
And part two is the big war, the all out finale. And I kind of always saw God of this Norse duology the same way. Where God of War 2018, it gives you more introspective into the characters. It builds up the world. It lets you know what it's all about, and then it leaves you on a cliffhanger. It lets you know, okay, Ragnarok is coming, and Ragnarok is full on war. Now imagine if in Deathly Hallows Part 2, right? All of a sudden, when they're fighting in Hogwarts, all of a sudden someone says, "Oh, Harry, so I know you're looking for Voldemort, looking to kill him, but could you please? We need reinforcements back here. Could you please go to this place and convince the people to join our cause?" Like, right? I guess it does make sense, right? But it feels silly that the main character would have to do this little errand, this little chore. And I kind of feel like God of War did that a lot. Like, even don't get me wrong, I do love all the cutscenes. I do love the scene when they get dropped, they get dropped in spear, the thing with the siren, and the whole thing with Brock cannot communicate with her because he's missing the piece of his soul that is required to communicate with her. I really like that. Don't get me wrong. But at the beginning, when they went, "Oh god, you're gonna need something good to beat Heimdall with, like a Draupnir spear, right?" And when they said that I would have to go fetch for it, I'm like, "Oh, dude, for real, can't you go?" Like, I gotta get you.
Yeah, you always gotta go through that journey.
Yeah, so I don't know. But having said all this, you do bring up a good point. I think that if it would have been a trilogy, then during the second part, Heimdall could have been the main villain of the second game, right? And they could have fleshed him out a bit more. I do agree with that.
Yeah, because he could have still been like a jackass. Yeah.
Yeah. He could have still been a dick, but a more nuanced dick, maybe, right?
Yeah.
A multifaceted dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all in all, man, I let down by the story, but look, like you said, game of the year for sure. I don't think anything comes close. I'm playing.
I'll probably change my mind, but
yeah. Like, to me, like, if Callisto Protocol was like the shit from the minute I booted up, I might would have been like, for me, it would have been Callisto, but it's not right now. Like, it's not bad, but we can go into more of that later. But
I've seen some reviews. Yeah, it's not.
Well, but look, you can't trust reviews. I will say it is better than what the reviews are saying, for sure, for sure. But
okay,
it's got some things about it. But I don't. Again, I know we're getting kind of close here because I have one more question for you when it comes to God of War, and then we probably should wrap it up. Because I know it's late for you over there. So considering the ending of the game, where do you see the franchise going from here? I mean, what happens? What happens next?
Well, okay. So I know you remember the conversation we had before where we thought, okay, maybe Kratos goes to Egypt or whatever. But honestly, after finishing it, I cannot see this going anywhere. I think that this is such a conclusive thing, at least in regards to Kratos. I think like that one moment where he sees that, okay, you can disagree with me, but I think that one moment where he sees that he finally got to a point where he's not feared by the people. People don't respect him as a guy out of fear, but out of actual appreciation. I think that is such a good note to end it with, right? he finally found he's actually in a good place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to go through anything else, honestly. I think he's
Yeah.
been through enough. That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
conclusive. And I do agree that I would not love an Atreus side game, but I can only see it going. If the franchise is to go on, I can only see it going in that direction. Either that or start a whole new character, right?
Yeah, either
So those are
that.
my
Yeah,
thoughts.
you could do that, or you could do a you could do an in between game. You know, because like I mean, you could very well
True.
make it like because like I don't know how many. It's got to be like so from the ending of God of War. I mean, maybe you know this that from the ending of
2
God of War
years.
3, the God of
Oh,
War 3
3.
to
Oh, 3. Oh,
2018.
to 15. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
I thought
mean
you were
Kratos.
asking 2018 and Ragnarok. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I know that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know the years between 3 and God of War 2018, but
Me neither.
God of War, Kratos got a good bit older. So I mean, you would have to think it'd have to been like I don't know. I mean, I don't know. He's a god, man. He's lived for a
Yeah,
lot of.
but it would be cool. That would be cool. You're right. Because I remember reading about, there's like a comic book or some shit like that. That kind of shows his journey from the
Oh, it
Greek
is.
world to the Norse world.
Oh, no way.
Don't I think that's something that does exist. Yes.
I have to look
Uh,
into that.
but I would enjoy, seeing a game like that. It would be even cool to see I don't know, like maybe a transitional gameplay, because we know that at some point he abandons the Blaze of Chaos, right? It'd be
Mhm.
cool how we got to, I don't know, maybe a transition from that to using the Leviathan axe. I don't know. It would have to be a completely new beast. You could
Mhm.
not, I think, use the same mechanics as the Norse duology. But
Yeah, I
you're right; it
mean,
could be cool.
yeah, that would be cool because yeah. So like the piggyback off of you, I'm the same way. Like as far as this current storyline, like
Mhm.
I don't know what else you put it. Like one, why would Kratos go anywhere else? He seems pretty comfortable
Right.
in
Hmm.
Midgard, so like I don't see him going anywhere. But maybe he settles down with Freya, man. Maybe he gets to clap some
Right.
witch cheeks. You don't know. I mean, maybe it all
Or
works.
maybe get a game of maybe get a game about that. We get like a home simulator. We got a family simulator, right?
How famous?
Try to make us try to. Because he did not kill every Norse god. He got a few chunk of them. So I think it's time to repopulate, right? And that's Kratos and Freya's next mission. And that's your
Yeah,
mission in the new God of War game,
he
where you
makes the new
gotta
Asgard. New Asgard, right?
exactly. You know the fallout mechanic. Yeah, you know the fallout mechanic where you have your own bunker and you have to
Hmm.
like manage whole population. That, but God of War, and they're all your children. They're all Kratos and Freya's children.
Hmm.
Imagine
Yeah,
that.
that'd
That
be
is the new God of
interesting.
War. Is that a good pitch?
Yeah,
Is
no,
that
it's not
what
bad.
fans want?
You need to give that to Corey Barlog in Santa Monica Studios. They might
Balrog.
take you up on that.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I
I think yeah, I was gonna say yeah, I think that I think I'm with you on that because I don't know what else would really get him into conflict at this point because like he's kind of wanting to be more of like a hero of the realms at this point, right? I mean, he tells
Mhm.
he said Freya, would you join me? And join me to pretty much to free the realms. I mean, you're going around and
Mhm.
helping people and helping the the souls and the ghosts and stuff there, and it's almost like he's like pretty much a superhero at this point. You know,
Yep.
that's pretty much what
Yeah.
he is.
Exactly.
So I mean, maybe he could go to another realm, but he just I don't know. He seems like a god to me that like wants to redeem the 9 realms and then just be like, but all right, I'm going back to my
And
cabin
then
in the
settle.
woods.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's when
No.
he
No. I
brings
agree. I
Freya.
agree.
Then we go. He brings Freya in there for some Pound Town, and then that's it.
Exactly.
No,
I know how much I love how much you ship him. I love that.
dude, I was shipping bad, man. I was like, dude, come on, y'all together. Mimir, you can put Mimir down, turn him the other way, and just freaking.
How you put down pictures, right? You put the picture. Yeah, that's what he does to
Yeah,
me. He just kind of
yeah,
he turns his eyelids off. He kind of puts him to sleep.
yeah, yeah. You could just sit him down with a book. Just have him like when you first see him at the beginning of the game, he's like flipping through the pages of a book with like a
All right.
paintbrush or something. But yeah. So anyway, well, I think we about covered most of it. Is there anything else you want to add before we close it out?
I can't think of anything right now. I think I'm good.
So it's your game of
Let
the
me
year.
think. You know what? I actually regret that statement because, as you said, It's not much. It's the game that I enjoyed most playing this year, and the game that surprised me the most this year. But as I said, I think that by replaying it, I will not enjoy it as much. Well as Elden Ring, I think it would retain more of that fun factor. So you know what? Screw it. Elden Ring Game of the Year. Elden Ring Game of the Year. Yep, I said it. Elden Ring Game of the Year.
Oh hell!
I mean, honestly, dude, I know you didn't play Elden Ring, but I mean, what else is there?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but you didn't play through it. Is what I meant.
Yeah, I did. I probably put like, I think see, PlayStation robbed me. I'll say this, and then we'll close it. They robbed me. I know I at least put 20 hours into that game, and it's saying on PlayStation. Like it said, it's like 7.
It says
it's like
10.
7. It's like 10.
7 even
I'm
less.
like, dude, that's horse shit. There's no way I put 20.
No,
I know
I agree.
It said 20 at one point, and I'm like,
no,
yeah, don't do that.
PlayStation does do that. No, I agree. PlayStation's play count is really weird. It did that to me too. Like I was playing a game that does like track your playtime. I think it was like Final Fantasy or some shit.
Excuse me.
And it's no, bless you. And it does say like something like 40 to 50 hours. Well, PlayStation goes, oh no, you play like for like 35 hours. Like no, I didn't. Well, why are you playing me like this? Why are you playing a brother like that? I don't get it.
Yeah. It says the same thing for like Final Fantasy 15. Like I did a blunt of my playing on PS4 when I played it, and I had to have put like I think at one time it said at least 60 on my runtime in the game, but on the PlayStation, the PSN itself it said like 30. I'm like, dude, don't do that to me. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. So look, game of the year for most people, Elden Ring for Jan, and that's good enough for me. It's not my game of the year, but it's one of the top for sure. I mean, and that's what we'll do. That's what we'll plan to do with our next show. We'll get into other things with New Year stuff, but we'll talk about maybe top 5 games and kind of go into that if you want to.
Oh, let's do that. Oh, I'd love that.
That sound good?
Look forward for that.
All right. Well, with that being said, Jan, is there any other closing words you'd like to say? I know last show I kind of skipped over that because I think last show I wasn't feeling too well. I feel great right now, but I'm tired. So go ahead and give your final words on anything. Go ahead.
Well, I'll use this opportunity to say the final words that I meant to say last time, and that is vote for Elden Ring. Okay. Do it. Go to the Game Awards and vote for Elden Ring.
Okay, you got my vote because you said that. I'll actually
right.
I promise you I will go on the, I will go what website is it? I can't remember what it is. I'll go there. I'll find it.
Just go. Yeah, just go. I don't know, fucking Game Awards. Yeah, just go. Game Awards.
I think it might be just Game Awards. I'll go in there and my vote. I'll do that for you because
thanks. I appreciate it.
I'm not a fan of those games, but I see the potential. I see the replayability. I think it looks super cool when you got someone who knows what they're doing, and it's a work of freaking art. So you got my vote.
Oh my god, this is an early Christmas present for me.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This whole episode will be on the channel. So if you're not watching it live now, well, if you are watching it, you're watching it past tense. Sorry. Thank you for watching it, whether you're here now or you're watching it later. We should be chopping up segments of this. I'll send some to Jan. Maybe he'll put some on his page. I'll post some on Twitter and everything. But thank you guys for checking us out. We appreciate it. And we'll be back for one more final episode of the Deadhead Podcast before the end of the year. We'll probably do it, I guess, 2 weeks from now, something like that. We'll talk about it and we'll come back and put our heads together and see what we can do. So with that being said, enjoy you guys' Christmas. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.